So it's so wonderful to see you all again, even if it's on screen. But of course, we are very excited to have you back in Portland again in March. You know, the first time I believe you were in Portland was in 2013. Before then, we didn't actually know that much about this group called Jerusalem Quartet. Even though you've been together, I think almost 20 years by then, but I don't know if we just had our heads in the sand or maybe you weren't touring in the US very much before then. When was your first tour in the US? Do you remember?
Wow, not really, but
it was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, probably around then. But we, you know, I just remember we heard about this project that you were doing of all 15 Shostakovich quartets, and it just really intrigued us. So we booked you for that, and that was a big deal for us. That was a big risk, really. We actually didn't know you're playing firsthand. We thought, you know, are they going to be able to engage our audience, you know, for a whole week's worth of these concerts? Our audience is going to come in for all 15 of these quartets in a week, and you know, all by the same composer, and much less Shostakovich, which some might say is not the easiest music to digest. But as you know, it was a huge success. We're so thrilled about it. I still have people all the time, I mean, 10 years later, tell me what a profound impact it had on them. And other people just so jealous that they didn't participate in it, and just keep hearing from people about how wonderful it was. So when we heard you were doing this again, we jumped at the chance to bring you back for this project again. And I just want to kind of jump in and ask you a lot of things about the differences between these two projects, more than 10 years apart, and like what you've done a lot of cycles. I know you've done Beethoven, Bartok, Shostakovich, maybe others, but what made you want to revisit this and do Shostakovich again?
Make it right.
I'm not sure it could get any better than last time, but
well, listen, it's like with every piece that you play during your life, you kind of grow up together with it, and Shostakovich, it's not the difference. You always, each time you play the same pieces, you learn something new about it. You understand more deeper and wider, and but also, you know, Shostakovich, as you know, when you remember it, it's kind of almost like a part of our DNA, especially three of us, Sasha, Sergei, and I, because we were born in the former Soviet Union, and Shostakovich is kind of a very, very close music to us, which we totally understand and feel. So since it's really, really a kind of, I would say, trademark of our quartet playing, we decided for the it's been already 30 years for the quartet, by the way. So
I know, yeah.
This kind of anniversary, we decided to do this cycle again to celebrate this big number, this big round number that we're approaching. So that was one of the main reasons, because, like I said, it's very important cycle quartets to us.
So how do you think, have you approached it differently this time, and how do you think your performances will differ from the last time?
I think last time we played it in 4 concerts.
Yes.
We mixed and matched different eras and different quartets of different characters. Mm-hmm. And I think last time around we decided that it actually works best chronologically. So this time we're going to do it in 5 concerts, which each will be a little bit shorter. Mm-hmm. I think the concerts are quite intense. They're quite long. Including, I think the 4th had 2 intervals and 3 really big pieces. I think it was 2, 8, and 15 or something like that. It was really a big program.
Yeah, it was big.
So I think this time around, there'll be an opportunity for the listeners to kind of experience also the internal development. I think it's great that you guys are doing it within a week also. So it's really more of a chronological journey. Yeah, so I think it's going to be a little bit of a different progression.
Mm-hmm. So the other, I believe we are just one of, correct me if I'm wrong, one of 3 U.S. cities that are having the cycle. How are you performing it in the other cities? Are you not doing it in a week like we are?
I think they're pretty close, but they're not within a week. And in Europe, we're doing some of them split and some of them in a week, so it varies.
Mm-hmm. And how many times are you doing this in Europe?
I think there's 9 or 10 right now.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
No,
And,
all together.
yeah, yeah. Are you doing mixed programs too? Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, last time, for example, we did the whole cycle. It was 60. I remember it was 15 or 16 cycles that we did during
Wow.
seasons or 2 seasons. 2 seasons? Or less than 2 seasons, yeah, well, 1.5. So it was a lot.
Yeah, you maybe learned to, scale that down a little bit this time.
No, not necessarily because we do less because of that. It just happened this time a little bit less. But
Yeah. Now I don't remember. Are you carrying mixed repertoire programs this season too?
sure,
Yeah, always.
absolutely.
Always. We will do a lot of repertoire, which is
We
great.
are masochist.
So,
back to your question about, I think, back to the question about if it's going to be different. One decade is a lot for anyone, but also for a musician. So of course we are, we are saying that every concert is a little bit different, of course, naturally. But 10 years, it's a long time.
yeah.
So we are different age, we are different life experience. So
We played a lot of repertoire since then, not only Shostakovich, but I think the approach now is a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Composer.
And anyway,
So-
no 2 concerts are ever the same.
yeah.
Right. And this is probably a dumb question, and I know that usually musicians answer this question by saying, whatever music I'm playing right now, but I'm just wondering if any of you have a favorite Shostakovich Quartet, or, one that really speaks to you, that, always gets to you, or, are there ones that jump out more than others to you?
Different. I think each of us different things.
I'm
different.
sure.
For me, all of them are. Of course, it depends on the mood. But for me, all the cycles like one unit. My feeling.
Interesting. So you don't think of them as 15 separate, maybe 15 separate movements, but all the same. Interesting. Huh. Is that true for the rest of you?
Well, of course, there are more favorite quartets. It depends also on the particular part in the quartet. Because for me as a cellist, I very much like number 12, 14, number 2. It's one of my favorites. Of course, number 3, 10, and 8, they are the most popular and famous. But this already depends on the mood, like I said. Sometimes you really like it and playing it, and the next day you play it again, and it's okay, fine. Yeah, but there are a few, like I said, two, especially for me, is very powerful. Quartet, which we just, by the way, we just recorded for Peace. Company that we just started to work with after so many years with Harmonia Mundi, and also like I said, 12, 14, it's very interesting pieces.
It's of course very much depends on the situation, on the weather outside, but for me, I somehow now also we made the recording number 7, which is kind of in the middle of the cycle, the shortest one, the most compact one. For me, feels sometimes like this is a DNA of Shostakovich. It's maybe most personal of his quartets. It's dedicated to his late wife, and I sometimes compare this piece with Beethoven Opus 95, which is also kind of in the middle of the cycle and the most compact, and I find all the mastery of Beethoven in Opus 95, kind of combining early style and the very late style as well. And I feel about the same about this Shostakovich number 7 quartet. A lot of kind of DNA and signatures of Shostakovich there. Minimalistic, to the point. Second movement is very, very short, very abstract, but with very particular character and sonority. And the last movement, which has this crazy fugue and this kind of valse ending, the epilogue of this quartet, which is very personal and strange dancing atmosphere and very lyrical, but in the same time a lot of harmonic strange things in this valse. So I would say that number 7 for me is the one. Yeah.
I'll go back to what Sergei said. I think each quartet has so many different things. Sorry, so many different things in it. It's hard to pick a quartet. For me, the moments where kind of the storm clouds clear and there is a more direct and honest writing, those are the moments that really touch me most deeply, because a lot of the music is obscured. He's not really saying what he's thinking, and it's kind of, he expresses himself through a lot of filters. And then there are these moments where the storm clouds kind of clear, and there's an honesty which is not kind of a real transparent honesty, and I find those moments to be really heartbreaking, actually. And I think you can find them in almost all of the quartets. The waltz that Sasha was talking about is one of those moments, because it's almost like he's alone with his wife, and there's the whole universe just disappears there. Yeah.
Well, I think that confirms for us that everyone has to just come for the whole week and hear them all.
Yes.
For sure. Good. I'm going to ask another really dumb question, but I'm going to go ahead anyway. If Shostakovich were alive today, what would you want to ask him when you're preparing for this monumental task?
I would not ask him anything. First of all, maybe later, but first of all, the first thing I would do is to give him the right, proper, well-working metronome.
Okay.
Because I think what the metronome that he was using was totally.
Actually, it's our kind of a big question, because when we hear he's playing all the recordings, and all the metronome is very fast. So really to ask what is the point and how you feel this music, it's a lot of questions.
Yeah, question
about the tempo, the character, because we play as we feel and as we think it's right, but actually there are a lot of questions about the mood, the character, the atmosphere that he meant.
Because
in many places.
In his music we always say that you find the character between the notes. So there are a lot of kind of personal questions probably that we would ask him, but I would invite him to the cycle in Portland. You should come.
Good food, great public, great atmosphere. What else do you need? Yeah. But yeah, this music full of kind of traps, character and atmosphere traps, because it's in the very first sight, it looks and sounds happy moment, but it's actually totally opposite. And the other way also, it sounds so sad, but with so much hope between the notes. So it's really tricky music, and you need to know and you need to feel it and to understand it really properly, deeply. And of course, if Dmitry Dmitrievich would be alive today, we would have a lot of questions. Just maybe some of them just to confirm what we are doing, because I think there are a lot of things that we're doing. There is no other way to do it. But still, there would be a lot of questions, of course. Yeah.
I would be curious to get to know him a little bit and see if the Shostakovich that I imagine through this very personal 15 string quartets, I think when we, particularly in a cycle, I think every piece we play, but particularly in a cycle, gives us kind of as musicians a imaginary relationship with the composer and his language and the way he expresses himself. And I'd be really curious to see if the idea that I have in my head of who he was real or not.
Yeah.
I think like his music, he was not an easy person to get to know. I think he obscured a lot. I think he wasn't asking. I know we all know people who've played for him and knew him, and I think they all said that he wasn't very immediately instructive. He didn't like to tell people exactly how to play his music. And I think good composers do that. They let the artist kind of imbue the music with their own artistry. I think he would have been difficult. So what I'm trying to say, I guess, to make it short, is that it wouldn't be just like spending an hour with him. I'm not sure it would be very instructive. I would love to see, a holiday somewhere.
So what is, at the end of the week, what is going to constitute a success in your view, other than you survived this Herculean task? But what will you consider a success, and what do you hope our audience takes away from the week?
Wow.
Well, first of all, like last time, I remember after the first concert, and when we continues for these 4 concerts that we did, there were more and more people coming, because people were really enjoying and spreading the word that this is something special. And I'm sure this time will be even more kind of interest from public. I'm sure it's I don't know if it's already sold out, but I know people looking forward for that in Portland, right? Am I right?
There's still a few tickets left.
Oh, yeah, well, we still have a few days before that, yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the response of the public, the reaction of the public, even if it wouldn't be full, just to see the response from the public after the concerts, if they're happy, that would be, for me, enough,
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the magic of a cycle, particularly of Shostakovich, is really if audience members leave kind of having spent a week in the world of Dmitri Shostakovich, which is a really interesting, I think, period of time and in history, geographically. And I think these wonderful pieces really, particularly when they're together, they really tell a story. So it's almost like a one-man show in a way. And I remember from last time, you guys did such an incredible job at complementing the concerts with other events and with materials that you produced. I remember really the feeling that week was like stepping into a time machine, like through a looking glass into another world. And I remember that you guys, probably of all the cycles we did in 2013, did that the best, I think.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I really remember that very vividly. And so hopefully we can capture that together again.
Yeah. And we are planning to do that again with some speakers, lectures, and yeah, have it be a really immersive week. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just want to end on a little lighter note to ask you, now you've been in Portland a few times, and you were here a week in 2013, but you'll be back for a whole week. So are there things you're hoping to do while you're in Portland this time that you haven't gotten to do? What's that?
Nong's chicken.
Oh, okay. Have you had it before?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
I mail order the sauce all the way to
Oh my gosh, that's great. All right. All right. Anything else? Yeah,
was
I'm
great
sure it
food.
revolves
Yeah,
around
check
food.
I mean, we have a week, yeah, so to check every food truck.
Right, there you go.
Really incredible, the quality. I remember it's unbelievable. Yeah.
Good.
You guys are very lucky to have that. Yeah, but
That's
maybe also see something. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure we won't have too much free time just to walk around, but at least to see a little bit more of Portland.
good. Yes, well, we're hope for good weather. March is a little tricky here, but we'll order good weather for you. Yeah.
And we'll bring hiking boots. and
Not
clothes.
Russian weather, though, please. Not Russian weather. We have
No.
enough Shostakovich music, but no Russian weather.
No way. All right, well, thank you all for taking the time to talk with us today, and we can't wait to see you in person in March.
Very much looking
Yes.
forward. Yeah.
Looking forward.
Great.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Minute, Jeff.